that's the good thing about money, and it's like it's crazy how much people focus about. Well, we have money, we can do it. You know, we can fix this, and it's like, wow, that is like so wrong, because money doesn't create the relationships per se. It fuels relationships.
Sure.
It doesn't create them. You can transfer energy with money, but you don't. What we need is to build more lines, and building more lines has to do with creative thinking and problem solving and coming up with new things, and not money. You can't throw money at something and grow that network the way that you need to, and it becomes such a inefficient.
It's a limited tool. Is what you're saying? You like it'll only do a certain amount.
I think it's almost
or redundant entirely.
It's maybe just terrible idea actually. Maybe
money in general. I'm with you.
No, I'm not saying that money is a bad idea. I'm just saying that throwing money at problems might be like a very bad idea.
Right, it's not the solution you're looking for.
Yeah, like what you want to do is you want to throw money at a relationship, but only one that needs the money, that you're trying to grow it. But it just you get corruption, and you get these other levels of problems.
Some bad relationships start kicking in.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's like the tube. The tube, a relationship is like a tube, and it can only hold a certain amount of energy. If you throw money into that tube, and it doesn't fit the tube, you get corruption. You get other tubes that form to then take that money,
suck it out,
because it doesn't fit. Like it literally, we're like just throw the money, and it looks like it fits. We're like, we give it to somebody, they give it to somebody. It looks like it's fine in physical, but in this mind space, there's like the tube is a limited size. There's like a bandwidth, so therefore, other tubes need to form. And then what happens is that
to deal with that extra
money, and then that's where corruption comes from, and that becomes like it corrupts the tube, because the tube was meant, the money was meant to go there, but all of a sudden it's coming all these other places, and we didn't, and you don't plan any of those places because you didn't. The money created the pathways. You need to create the pathways before, and then you feed them with the right amount. So I think there's a lot to be said about the economics of energy transference between patterns and how money affects that. There's a lot to be said. But that could be huge.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very interesting. But like something like piracy. Piracy is inevitable. It's a distribution issue actually, and it's clearly a distribution issue. So let's say you have a movie that's released, or an album or something like that, and you have only one way of distributing. You have iTunes.
Okay.
Just iTunes.
Yeah.
There's a tube there. Then there's all of these people that want that music or that movie. That tube cannot support all of those people. So what happens is that new tubes have to be created to balance that equilibrium, that demand supply type of thing.
Sure.
They want the relationships. They have the relationships. The relationships are the lines. The lines didn't have to manifest. Like the lines exist. You understand? Like, but the physical one that exists is the iTunes one. That's the physical one.
That's
iTunes,
one that's been reflected.
That's been reflected, that we see is the iTunes one, and the one that really only is legitimate. But the truth is that all of these people have relationships with, this artist or this, movie.
In different ways.
In different ways with these, actors and genres of movies and comedy. You know what I mean? It's like a comedy with Arnold Schwarzenegger and like Stallone. It's like, you have like a billion people who love this stuff.
Yeah.
So if you only have one tube in reality that's legitimate, and it cannot support all these people, they have to create those tubes. Like those relationships have to reflect themselves. It's a reflective thing, right? So if there's enough of they have to reflect themselves in reality. Therefore, the only way for it to be done is through piracy. It has to happen. Like it has to occur because people must connect with this stuff. So, the only way to eliminate piracy is to create more legitimate tubes, break business models. It's painful, but I mean. But arresting people, you're fining them, it doesn't work. Like it's because people have the relationships in their minds. By arresting people and by fining them, you're not going to stop them thinking about the relationships that they have with these things. You understand? The relationships that exist, the relationships that manifest, the reality. By finding them, you're just destroying
and the
everything.
wrong circles. You're just messing up the wrong
Oh
circles.
yeah, I mean it's creating a lot of problems.
Yeah.
The problem is that there's not enough tubes, and that needs to be done right away. That needs to be fixed. And there should be a mathematical formula. It should be like, okay, so it's this movie with these people. There's a value of this. iTunes only allows for a transference of 300. This thing has 1,000. Therefore, we need a 700 more bandwidth. Where does
distribution,
that distribution? Yeah, that's why Netflix comes about. That's why you have pay-per-view. That's why you have this, but it's still not enough in all cases.
Pretty much.
There's airplanes. There's of course the distributions, but it's still not enough. It's still the numbers don't even make sense. So no one's doing that math.
And a lot of that, I suppose, coming back to money. I mean, price point is one big differential, but I guess that comes back to shaking up relationships. Like the Blockbuster model of distribution.
Sure.
Didn't move well enough with the times. It's now shrunk into something so small it's disappeared.
It didn't connect with the internet properly.
Yeah.
And the internet is like the network multiplier. So if you're like a network, Blockbuster's a network, everyone's a network, and then you don't connect with the internet, like your network doesn't get super boosted with lines, and then you end up not
being big enough to exist in this world.
Yeah, because they just didn't know how. They weren't internet
but not say that, and I agree with it before I've even said it, but that anything that wanted to kind of maintain a presence in this world would have to have some kind of internet presence.
The internet is it's very fundamental. It's a reflection of the abstract space.